Hi, I'm Zach Stewart.
Laura Hotchkiss.
And I'm Daniel Kvoras. On this podcast, we improvise in character as hosts of a morning radio show in a fictional country called the Driftwood Isles.
Everything we say is made up, and none of the events, people, or places are real.
It's that simple. Now enjoy this episode of Good Morning Driftwood.
Good afternoon, Driftwood. Yep, for the first and hopefully last time, you are listening to our special afternoon edition after a technical glitch with the Driftwood Isles central timekeeping system. As we are all aware, the glitch meant that the clocks across the isle stopped at 2 a.m. for 10 hours, and the government have said we'll just need to stick with this until the engineers implement the patch that'll fix it. Okay, so for the first time, and I swear, better be the last time. Good afternoon, Driftwood. It's me, Penelope, with my co-host, Dirk.
Well, hey there.
And Bench.
I'm so tired.
Yep.
I'm so tired.
It's kind of
Poor Bench.
like the Millennium Bug, but for daylight savings time. The clock says it's about 8 a.m. right now. But yeah,
Just gonna roll with this.
we know it's the afternoon and we know it'll be dark in a
I've
couple
been
hours.
up
So
for so long.
yeah,
But you have to lock in and roll. That's what they said. They said lock in, Bench.
they have to fix this. I feel like I have jet lag. Okay. I am losing my mind. Okay.
Time is a construct.
Time is a construct.
Overpower it.
Dirk, you were getting through this much better than the rest of us.
My sleep schedule has no moorings.
You are so efficient with your changes. You know what?
You're
If you can
so
just,
efficient with your changes.
I'm just gonna hand the control of the show over to you for a little bit while I stare at the wall. Okay.
All right. Well, I do have something I'm particularly excited about.
Oh,
The renowned author Peter Chutney has announced that the reason he's such a good writer is because he's possessed by a demon named Tranthor the Fabulous.
that
Now,
makes so much sense.
Right? Mr. Chutney, he grew up in the swamps of southern Driftwood, and his family had previously said that they thought he was illiterate until he randomly presented them with his first manuscript, which eventually became his debut novel, Gator Teeth. And of course, that was an instant bestseller. It was 2 decades ago. He's rolled out hit after hit since then, every single novel being a #1 bestseller. Well, now he's saying that he has been possessed by a demon since shortly before that first novel's release, and that he doesn't remember writing any of those books, which does explain why in all of his interviews he appears somewhat confused and surprised by most of the questions. There's a debate about whether this is true, of course, because he's currently promoting his new novel, Soul of the Swampland, which might include themes of possessions. So people don't know whether to believe him or not. He's always been quite eccentric, but he's a brilliant author, and now it's in question whether he's just eccentric or, in fact, possessed.
I don't buy it.
You don't buy it? You
don't
think it's
buy
a stunt?
I think it's a stunt. So it's another publicity stunt by big books, which, as we all know, they have a big stronghold on this community. They'll do anything to get those
The
sales
literary
up.
barons of Driftwood are known for their dirty, dirty tactics.
Don't care for it.
You don't
care
like
for
it?
I don't think he's really
Even
possessed.
if it is marketing, you don't think it's fun?
Do you think devilry is fun? Is that fun
people,
to
the
you, Dirk?
horror movies and literature, horror. It's
They're
a
hand in
lot. There's
hand.
a lot of people like that kind of stuff, you
I
know. So if
don't-
you add a little world building, a little sort of guerrilla marketing realism to it, I don't know that this is entirely unbelievable because he has always been an eccentric fellow. You see him in interviews. They ask him a question about his most recent book, and he looks completely taken aback, like he has no idea what they're talking about.
I do. I don't know if I'm misremembering it, but I'm pretty sure I watched him set fire to his own hand once.
That sounds like a possessed guy.
Feels
Bench.
possessed to me.
Yeah.
Like it
Is
feels
possessed or desperate?
Ooh,
I mean, you could,
shots
you could
fired.
You could be both.
You could be both.
Possessed and desperate.
Yeah.
That
Okay,
sounds like the,
wait,
good
wait,
name,
wait,
the
wait.
name of a great novel that he should write.
Sorry, are you saying that it could be that he is possessed by a demon and the demon is doing this as a publicity stunt?
Yeah, you could be a demon that's also desperate for
Layers.
a good sales
That could be.
number.
I could see that happening. Whether or not he is possessed, I think this is fully a stunt. This is a choice. It's a marketing choice.
So you think he could be possessed, and they're just leaning into that for the marketing of this particular novel because maybe it helps with this particular novel, whereas it didn't
I think so.
help the sales of previous novels.
Hey, we're talking about it.
That's true.
Yeah.
We'd be talking about his novel no matter what it was, just because I love the workings of Peter Chutney. But
Yeah.
the fact that this is a little more juicy.
Yeah,
that's a
feel-
good point. It's a juicier
I feel like Chutney didn't need the help. Like, I was going to read the next one. Either way, like
at this point, he's been
beloved
for decades.
Yeah.
Every airport is just filled with his books.
Filled with Chutney.
Yeah, you go into any bookstore and there's the Chutney section.
Yeah,
Like, it's
multiple shelves.
He either gets a table, the nice little table in the middle, or you get the shelves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know which one's better. I'm not a bookshop expert.
Sometimes
table in the
go
middle.
and just covertly sign some of those books. So if you look through those books, you might find a signed Chutney.
Yeah.
You know that
expect.
he might have signed it if the pages are sticky.
Yep, there's that Chutney stick.
Mm-hmm. I did once actually get a signed copy, and I bet maybe it was like, has he used the wrong hand for this? But I showed it to a few people and was like, can you read what this inscription says? And the closest we can get, and we haven't proven this because obviously we'd have to like ask Peter Chutney himself, and you can't get near him. Like,
No,
so difficult to get near him.
reclusive.
Yeah, we ask a ton of times for interviews here. Like, does he want to come on the air? Never
All
up
the
for
time.
it. So,
Standing invitation, Mr. Chutney, if you're listening.
Mr. Chutney, if you're listening, any time of day. We don't know what time of day it is now, but we will work that out before you get here. Okay, so we read it, and what we think it says is, beneath the sea lives the void where we will all go. Enjoy the book. It's very personal to me.
When
See,
you
now
say
that sounds like some possessed guy
That feels
stuff.
possessed.
When
We
you
keep going
say-
back and forth on, but
that sounds like a writer. When you say we think that's what it says.
Yeah, like it was written really badly. We were like trying to work out what the letters were. Some of
it's
them
like
weren't
a
much
doctor
letters.
writing.
maybe
Yeah.
he wrote it when he was in kind of a reverie and he wasn't really behind those eyes. You know what I mean?
He's a writer and he knows
What
that
is your
people will
problem
talk.
with writers,
Yeah, you just
Bench? You
hate
seem
it.
to
I don't
have
have a
a lot
problem
of
with-
strong opinions and judgments about the writing
You know,
community.
here's what
You said
I'll
it
say.
sounds like a writer.
Sounds like a
It's
typical
quite
writer.
eloquent. I mean, some of the curses and things of demons are quite eloquent, I
Yeah,
think, in
you
terms of
saying-
the way that they're articulated.
You saying demons couldn't be writers? Because I think demons could write whatever they
saying-
want to
Yeah,
write.
demons can be writers too.
You
Bench.
could put 1,000 demons with 1,000 typewriters and they will never write Shakespeare.
So you think Shakespeare is
Definitely not
Angel.
possessed.
godly?
Angel
Do we
figure.
have any
Don't-
proof Shakespeare wasn't possessed?
Do we have any proof that he
Over
was?
to you, Bench.
Can you prove a negative?
Can you prove he wasn't?
He
Yes.
had. You look into the themes
Yes.
of his work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty dark stuff.
Real sad.
I think it's all. He
Demons
wasn't.
love bears.
Listen,
Demons
Shakespeare.
love bears.
Shakespeare
Your
was the-
counter argument, Bench.
Shakespeare was the original comedy writer. All of those writings are very fun
Dark
and
comedy.
light.
Dark
Dark
comedy.
comedy.
Also, we saying that
Mhm.
demons
Fun and
can't
light.
have a little fun time.
No, they don't like
Yeah,
fun.
there's lots of murder, sex, betrayal,
Yeah.
all that stuff in Shakespeare.
And if I was going to trust anyone to write it well, demon, lives in
Yeah,
that
you don't want an
world.
angel writing that stuff. It's going to
No.
be super lame and
Very
watered down.
judgy.
Yeah.
I am so disappointed in you two. You are falling for bookaganda once again.
I'm
not
not-
everything's a conspiracy.
not
Some people
everything's a
can just be possessed.
Yeah. I'm not putting any judgments on this possession on whether or not it's a good or bad thing. I'm just accepting it as the art that it is. You seem to have an agenda here.
I just want to, so we can all hear ourselves. Not everything is a conspiracy. Some people are just possessed. Right? That's what we're saying
Yeah, that's
right now.
what we're saying.
Yeah. And
Do you guys hear yourselves?
so repeat it.
Not
I thought
every-
it was fine, but you seem to have a lot of issue with this. Say it again.
possession is not inherently a conspiracy to you guys.
Isn't possession like 9/10
2/3
of the law or something? So like, yeah.
I thought it was 2/3. You said
2/3,
9/10.
9/10.
I might have had the
Same
math
thing.
wrong. You're the math guy.
So he has more.
What's 9/10 of 2/3?
9/10 of 2/3?
Yeah.
Impossible.
I wouldn't know. He's so good at math.
Impossible.
Yeah. I think you're being too quick to say no.
I look. Here's the thing, and I don't want to paint with a broad brush here about all writers, but most of them, not all of them.
Careful.
There's hey, there's very fine writers out there, but a lot of them are, drama queens. They just want the spotlight. That's all they care about.
I would argue the opposite. Writers, they're not putting themselves in front of the camera.
No.
They're behind the scenes. They're faceless in many and some
A
don't
lot.
even have their faces. Some write under pen names. that don't even have their actual names or photos anywhere.
A lot of times when we have writers on here to promote their books, they are shy, scared, timid little mice that sit in a corner, and we really got to coax the words out of them using small bits of cheese.
They request the isolation curtain, so we don't even have to look at them. They just answer the questions.
That's an act.
I don't think
it's an act.
I think
but it's happened multiple times with multiple authors.
Yeah, because they have a method.
Mr. Chutney, when he does interviews, he doesn't hide behind.
And that's why we're talking about him more.
Okay. Maybe once or twice he has hidden behind the smoke screen.
That's true.
The purple smoke that he has created from his hands. But that's I would say is not really like a hiding thing. That just happened. Oops, it just happened.
It's just part of
him. He
him.
apologized for it.
And I feel like that's more evidence for the possession.
Yeah.
So you guys are fully bought into the possession.
I'm still weighing the evidence, but it seems like there's a lot of evidence for, and I'm not hearing a lot of evidence against other than you saying it's a conspiracy.
Have you ever
Hit me
met
with
a
that
demon?
again, Penny?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever met a demon?
Counterpoint.
Have you ever met a demon?
Have I ever met a demon?
Yeah.
Probably, but I wouldn't know, would I?
Yeah. You're telling me we were going to
I assume at some point I would have crossed paths with a demon.
Okay.
If I was to place a bet on any one of the three of us having crossed paths with a demon at some point in Dirk's backstory, there is going to be he approached a crossroads and he got made an offer.
Do you think?
110%.
I have met lots of old men and women
so many times
in the fog.
Yeah, you wrote
of either my mind or the streets.
Remember that time you wrote that beautiful song? Like you went on a walk through the woods and you came back and you were like, I just got this inspiration for this beautiful song after meeting a wizened old woman.
Dirk is talented.
It's like it planted in my head.
Don't take that away from him.
Yeah.
Also, can I just say, I don't want to...
I'm really, now that you've complimented me in that way, I am pulled to agree with you more.
I don't want to bring up old business, but the other day you guys were giving me so much shit for assuming that some people might be liquid metal. And now we're just like, okay with people might be demons.
It's not the same thing.
It's a different thing.
Yeah, metal is real.
Also, if demons lead to brilliant works of Peter Chutney, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, fine with it.
AI and liquid metal could bring about the downfall of society at large.
The second book in the Swiss...
But demons won't.
Oh my God.
No, they're just making great art.
The second book in the Swiss Man trilogy was... like the twist.
Masterpiece.
The surprise twist. When it turned out he was not a Swiss man. He was actually
Never
French.
saw it coming.
Didn't see it coming.
I took it at face value.
The Netherworld created that. Wow. Give me more.
Please, inject it into my veins.
Yeah.
Come get me, Netherworld.
Yeah.
If I can live in that mindset.
A page turner. The turn of the page.
Oh, Penny is just
turning the pages.
on a roll.
3 more.
Mm-hmm.
What you think about gator teeth, Penny?
Stunning.
And the book?
Stunning.
What do you think about Peter Chutney himself and his wardrobe? He usually wears a lot of like robes and things. And lately he's been dyeing his hair different colors. And I think that's very cool and artsy.
I thought that was cool. And also the fact it wasn't just like one color. Like sometimes it's as if each individual strand has its own color.
Sometimes it feels like over the course of like the interview or whatever he's doing, the colors change.
Yeah. But sometimes it's like...
magical man.
Sometimes I wonder, is it me that's changing? Because sometimes I'm like, I feel like I can smell wildflowers from a dark forest, but with a hint of burning, right? Sometimes if so like I went to the book reading he did last year and I thought, wow, it's like I can really like smell this and I'm transported somewhere. And then I could like see things that I wasn't sure if they were real or not. But I think that's just the allure of a really good book reading, you know?
I think you're also very susceptible to smells. You have bought so many houses because you just walk into them and they smell like cookies.
Baked goods. Mm-hmm. I love a baked good. Well, listen,
Indeed.
I
don't think she's wrong for it.
I don't think I'm wrong
and
for it.
And also, everything she did, the soundscape and vision that the world that she just illuminated and created and articulated sounds spectacular. And if that is the result of a demon,
But
sign me up.
But don't take that away
Let's get
from
into
don't
that
take that away
world.
from Penny. Penny, you described something beautiful right now. I think
now
that is
you've
your
directed
talent.
the compliment at someone else, I can see through it. And I know that you are just trying to pander.
Okay, you know what? It just got really heated in here all of a sudden. I'm going to just throw us to a quick break where we're going to look outside and we're going to look at the clock and we're going to try and recenter ourselves, okay? So we're just going to cut to a quick break and we'll be back in a few. Okay, now the clock's telling us that it's 4:15, so that's changed. That jumped.
Wild
It
swing.
doesn't say AM or PM.
Doesn't say AM or PM.
Your guess is as good as ours.
Oh, this better be fixed today because I am not living like this any longer. Okay. Anyway, Bench, what can you distract us with?
Well, okay, we got to talk about this. The big story in the news. Everyone's talking about this now. I'm sure you guys have heard the disappearance of our beloved ship, the DFF Poseidon. Of course, that's a Driftwood Fleet Poseidon. The official police stance is it has been stolen, but I don't know if you guys heard this. I heard a lot of speculation. People are whispering and talking. There might have been something to do with the Oath of Poseidon remaining unfulfilled. I don't know how to take that.
No.
We have been waiting for the results and fallout of what the unfulfillment, the fact that hasn't been fulfilled will be. People have been waiting for some sort of manifestation of that.
Exactly. And we can't know if this is related or, again, if it's just theft.
They stole a boat.
Yeah.
Burglary.
Now, for anyone who's not
I think
fully
it's different
aware,
than burglary if you stole a boat, but go on.
yeah. Oh, I was just going to say, anyone who's not fully aware, Poseidon is the god of the sea, water,
Praise
ocean
be.
area. Yep. Big deal if you are a small isle.
Yeah.
True.
It's one of the heavy hitters of the gods
Yeah.
in general, but
He's
of particular importance to
There's a
us
whole-
island dwellers.
Whole pantheon, and I would say Poseidon's one of the ones that you just know not to mess with.
Yeah. He's got that trident.
You want to be on the
Yeah.
good side of that trident.
I never want to mess with anyone with a trident. That's like one little rule for me. You don't want to be on the wrong side of it. You don't want
Good
to.
rule.
I don't want it thrown at me. I don't want it poked at me. I don't want it like left near me, and then I step on it and it pings me in the face like a
Rake
rake
style.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone gesticulating and like trying to articulate a point using a trident at me.
Risky.
You listen, I like that.
Yeah.
Risky.
Yep.
You don't want to get into
So-
an argument with Poseidon.
The Poseidon, the oath that was never fulfilled. You got any? You want to tell our listeners a little bit more about that?
Well, we all, we learned about this in school, the Oath of Poseidon. It was foretold that, it was very vague about the timeline, but it's...
Kids do their lovely little presentations. They
Yeah.
each make a Poseidon beard.
Yeah.
And their own trident out of, toilet roll and things like that. And
The toilet roll tridents are
the cardboard
always...
bit parts.
They're incredibly impressive. And again, it's a big part of the culture, but we all know that we are awaiting the day that the group will ascend to the sea, which again has always been kind of a weird paradox of how do you ascend to the sea?
Yeah.
It's been like...
And the analysis of that is something that Driftwood scholars have been discussing, what it means to ascend to the
Yeah.
sea.
Do we build a little pit and then we keep the water out and then we have a little ladder and then you climb the little ladder? That was one. And then you'd kind of like plop like an infinity pool, but like a very deep, empty well. It's hard.
People have tried lying down on the shore when the tide is off. So kind of like when the water comes back
when we
in,
switch
your
the-
head is towards the water.
Yeah, when we switch it off,
When we switch it off.
the tide off.
Switch the tide off.
Yeah. You can get the states of the tide are in, out, off.
In, out, off. But
Poseidon has those switches.
Yeah.
that has not worked. We have not had anyone ascend to
Yeah.
the sea yet. And
It could also be when Poseidon raises the seas to engulf all of the world. Then the sea level will be so far above you that you will ascend
exactly. We have
up
been...
into his benevolent grace.
I feel like the Driftwood Isles have been contributing majorly to global warming because we're trying to like accelerate oceans
We
rising.
want to meet Poseidon
We
as
really
fast as
do.
possible.
He seems nice.
He likes us.
I feel like I could
Yeah.
have a beer with him.
Yeah, he likes us. There's
Yeah.
other countries he doesn't like.
He gets it.
He likes us. He gets us.
Real interesting to me though that he would steal or we're saying potentially stolen or potentially shipwrecked. A big ship named after him, because I feel like if
Maybe
it
he
was
thought it was
me,
a gift to him.
yeah, I wouldn't
maybe.
mess with the one named after me.
That's true. You'd want that one out there,
I'd be
spreading your
like,
name.
10 out of 10 more.
but then
from
again,
that
they
one.
did
Good
get us
point.
talking about him. I'm like, is he trying
But if
to
it was
say
around-
You think
something
everything
like,
is a
did you guys forget about
publicity
me?
More
conspiracy.
conspiracies
Everything
theories
to
from
you
Bench
is just
PerDiem.
Again, it could have just been stolen. That's also an option.
And the police.
How
were
large
just,
was that boat?
Yeah.
It was like a warship.
So difficult
big
to
boat.
hide.
I feel like we would see it. You know,
Where would you go with it? There weren't any sort of GPS. It was a warship. There weren't any sort of tracking mechanisms.
no, it wasn't.
or-
It was like an antiquated. You can go and do like little tours on it. You know, it was kind of defunct. It was basically a museum at this point.
Oh, so they
Have
were
you never
not
been on
expecting
the-
it.
on a
No,
DFF
I never
site?
have.
Oh, it's so
and it
nice.
sounds like I missed my chance.
Hopefully
Yeah.
it'll come back.
Hopefully
I
we'll
don't know.
find
In
it.
some
Either
way.
Poseidon will give it back, or we'll find it from whoever thieves took it. Stealing a boat.
I feel like, okay, can we agree that at the very least, this kind of takes off the list the idea that we are waiting for Poseidon to raise the seas? Because that's kind of like the ball is on his court. And if he's mad that we haven't done it, but it's a thing that he needs to start, that's not on us.
I get your logic.
I understand. That's a good point. Then it's sort of he's going to do it when he's going to do it.
When he's good and ready.
And there's no point in attempting to accelerate it in the way that we are.
So is there like something we're not seeing? I feel like it has been discussed. It feels like try to just talking about this again because of these discussions are had all the time about, what does the oath mean? But I don't know. It feels urgent to figure it out.
So that we can rectify the situation with the boat, or so we can ascend to Poseidon. For which eventuality?
Both ideally, but the boat is kind of more pressing. And who knows what else you might take.
Are
That's
you
true.
particularly...
Is Poseidon taking more, or these thieves taking more? We got to find this boat. We should round up some sailors. We should get some other boats to start sweeping the shorelines.
So strange to me that you, as a gentleman sleuth, haven't worked this one out already.
This is a good point.
Was there no powders?
There were no powders in the scene of the crime.
No residue?
Okay.
Oh, does that foil you? Are you instantaneously
I'm big on powders.
bereft
Yeah.
and
Look,
devoid of any potential leads if there are no powders?
Powders is a lot of what I based my findings on, and
Indeed.
I did go to the scene of the crime. I did try to see what's up there. It is as if this boat were never there. You know, like it's the lack of evidence that it's its own kind of evidence that
But
I
what
find
kind of
interesting.
evidence would there be?
Powder.
Okay, but it's a boat. It's in the water. So
Boat
the
powder.
second a boat leaves,
powder?
Boat
what is
powder.
boat powder?
You guys have never seen boat
It's
powder?
in the water, though. Anything that was on the boat
Okay.
or a part of the boat would just drift away in the water.
Do you guys know when you're trying to get on a boat and you have to go through security, after you check your bag?
Depends on the boat.
Depends on the boat. But if it's one of those
kind
boats and then you get scanned, sometimes they'll just have this thingy, they'll go over your hands to check for,
Penetrate.
yeah.
Mhm. Like explosive material. Usually that's to test for explosive material.
That's
Or
the little-
residue will
tiny bit of square paper
Exactly.
on the thing.
They test for gunpowder as well, but also boat powder.
And
I feel like
What
that didn't
is-
answer what boat powder
yeah,
is.
what
It
is
just,
boat
you
powder,
told us how
Where
they
does it
look for
come
it.
from?
What's gunpowder?
Powder from a gun.
What's boat
and
powder?
Again,
it's
not
sort
a
of
It's powder
it's
from a
powder
boat.
that actually is flammable
Yeah.
and will create a chemical reaction that will then set off a gun.
Something that I would argue we've seen before. I think
Indeed.
the reason we're asking, Dirk and I, is because we've never seen boat powder, and every answer you give takes us further away.
Have you seen gunpowder?
Yes.
Yeah. When we shoot the cannons
Yeah.
on Davy Jones
that's
Day.
true. That's true. That's true. Well, boat powder is the thing again that kind of like when a boat sets sail or ship sets sails. It really should be ship powder when we're talking about the DFF Poseidon, but it's the little residue of boat that are left behind.
Residue
Of
of boat.
But
So
how
is
does
it part of the planks of the boat,
It
or
was.
or is it something more ambiguous?
That is plank powder. That is a little different.
That's
This
different.
doesn't
Okay,
make
so
sense.
now we're
Yeah.
so similar, but we're not there yet.
How is it
Exactly.
in the water but is also a powder?
When you get on a boat, do you have to go through water?
Well, no, you usually just walk
yeah.
onto it. You
Like
just
a
step onto it.
gangway.
Yeah. There's either a plank that you walk up.
That is
or
where you
if
find some
can,
of the
you
boat
just
powder.
You find some powder and
on the plank.
Air
on-
moves. Air moves.
Air moves. Okay, let's break this down.
Yeah, air moves.
Okay.
Bench. Air moves.
Pressure systems.
Pressure.
Poseidon?
Air moves.
Question mark.
Bullet point number 1, air moves.
Yep.
Bullet point number 2, pressure systems?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bullet point number 3, Poseidon, ?
Okay.
We don't know.
Point number 4.
Boat powder.
That's too high a jump.
Poseidon is directly involved in boat powder.
There's a question mark. We don't know. That's the question mark is really important.
I see. Okay. So you said there was no boat powders.
There was nothing. There was no evidence
as a result of this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I assisted the police. I just joined their investigation on the scene. We used all the black light. There was no powders, a whole bunch of cum, but no powders.
Okay. You just said something.
That stood
you want
out,
to you want to expand on that? And was there a reason for why there was so much of that substance?
Yeah, was there so much ejaculate?
Well, that's a boat. But you know what they say about boats.
I feel like you've said the word boat so many times and you think it answers the question.
Yeah, and you also seem to think that there's all of this like inherent knowledge about like, oh, you know what boat powder it is. I was like, oh, you know about boats, you know what happened. Like, I don't know any of the things that you seem to think are inherent knowledge that we should all
Absolutely
just possess,
not.
Nor can you describe any of these concepts. But it's troubling. And also, I don't think you should ever explain away or hand wave away large quantities of
semen.
Thank you.
I didn't hand wave that as much. I'm like, that's not what I was looking for.
You seem to be like, that's fine.
It's not boat powder.
I still want to get to when there was a boat that vanished and that was left in its wake. I think it's worth figuring out maybe where it came from, maybe what the story is.
Probably
there. Some guy.
Probably.
You said it was large quantities.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe a couple of guys.
We are going round in circles here.
We are.
And
it's getting more upsetting. The more that's clear.
I never claim to have the answers. It's a mystery. If I
do
knew,
seem very confident that things are okay, though.
I'm not.
You don't seem concerned about the fact that this boat is gone.
I am concerned.
Okay.
I am. I just genuinely, it feels like a toss-up. I have no clue if it's thievery or Poseidonry.
Okay. Then I would ask you to go back, collect some of this. Penny, can you help? Collect some of this. I just don't want to say the word.
You're a grown man.
Collect some of the semen.
Thank you. Good.
And maybe if you need it to be a powder, wait for it to dry into a powder, and then maybe your natural sleuthing instincts will kick in and you will finally be compelled to use it to try to solve this crime. Because you're a good sleuth. I do think you can do it. I just think you need to follow the evidence that's there, and in the void of any boat powder, we got something. We got some evidence that's there, and that's all that semen. Take that and follow that semen. Okay, Bench.
Hey, I'm real proud of you, Dirk, for finally saying the words.
Yeah.
I just, I do, of course, have my edges, but I am a newsman.
Yeah.
And I'm concerned about this boat. And
hey, some of the words are just medically accurate.
This is true.
Okay, and you're allowed to say them.
Thank you.
But I know that you as you're a gentleman, you're a newsman.
Some days...
Newsman.
Depends on the day. Some days I just have a different sensibility where I'd like to have a classy operation here.
Very old-timey sometimes. Yeah.
I respect that. I will go back there. I will keep working on the case. Because that boat is
somewhere, and I think you can help us find it.
Mm-hmm. Keep us in the loop with this one.
And if you find it and it's Poseidon, then hey, give me an introduction. You know what I mean?
Hey, if I find it and it's Poseidon, you're all going to hear about it.
Oh boy.
Can't wait. Sounds spectacular.
Now, oh my God, the clock's changed again.
No.
Where are we at now?
What?
I don't understand how it can be a 13. We're just going to take a moment while we just work out why the clock's saying 13. Okay. And welcome back. Our 12-hour clock is saying 13 right now. We all sat around while you listened to the advert and we tried to work out what it was doing there.
I think we're just going to need to charge forward.
I'm so confused. Why is the analog clock going backwards?
Goodness. That's kind of exciting.
Let's just keep an eye on it, shall we?
Okay.
Are we being given time?
I don't know anymore.
I'll take it.
I'm so tired. So tired. You know what?
You're doing great, Penny. You're doing great.
Thank you. Do you know what? Right. Okay. I something I wanted to bring up with you both. Just a little press release that dropped in. Upper Derek's trendiest artisan boutique homebrew patisserie boulangerie that has inspired the food fashionistas to queue for upwards of 2 hours have announced the next big thing to them.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's right. It's Dough House up to their old tricks again.
Oh, love Dough House.
You've seen those brandy t-shirts on the back of those cool baristas with the hats. But now they've I don't know if this is good or bad. I don't know whether okay, I'll just tell you.
You're
okay.
being so coy.
I just don't know how I feel about it. Okay, so not content with bashing together two previously unrelated cakes in their Dr. Frankenstein's lair that they call a bakery, their new press release describes the next unheard of and quite frankly unasked for creation. So as we all know, Dough House was where the Cruffin was born, a croissant and a muffin. After that, they did not rest. They went for the pretzel. It's a croissant and a pretzel. Mm-hmm. And then, just when we thought, okay, that's enough. Mm-hmm. okay, guys, that's enough. Mm-hmm. No, that's enough. We said to them, and they said, oh, too late. We've got the macaron. Part macaron, part meringue. Okay, so I feel like that's enough.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like we're done here. But now, in a move that frankly betrays both the old gods and the new, they've announced
both
the old gods and the new. They've announced the McCretzelerang.
Oh wow!
Why?
Part macaron, part croissant, part pretzel, part meringue. Yeah, that's I physically, mentally, scientifically, I don't understand how they bash together.
Those guys are crazy over there.
Classic. They just wanted to figure out if we could, that they didn't stop to wonder if we should.
Yeah. I love the ingenuity of it. I'll be honest, I don't go there, but I just love it because they're doing crazy stuff with breads. Well, I like ingenuity.
I feel like what adds, I don't know where I am anymore.
We're so tired.
What adds insult to injury is it is only available in banoffee. Like, they couldn't just let it be a flavor. They had to bash two flavors together.
What is banoffee, really?
That's both banana and toffee.
Oh, that's what I genuinely didn't know that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Underwhelming.
That's what banoffee is.
You were expecting more from that?
I was hoping more. It's fine.
What did you hope it was?
Well, like a fruit I never heard of.
Sounds nice. Does it sound, now that you know what it is, does it sound nice?
It sounds fine. I can imagine what that tastes like. I could never imagine what
a fruit that you don't know is like.
I was like, oh, it was exciting because I don't even have a comparison point for this.
Still a new taste for you. Should you go check it out, I think?
Yeah.
Maybe this place it's going to be a little more confusing of a flavor mixture than just straight banoffee.
Yeah.
And that's the flavor for cannot deign to say the name of the monstrosity of this bread.
McCretzelerang.
McCretzelerang.
I love it.
I'm
probably not going to try it, but I just love the wild world they're creating over there.
Just a crazy, I do wonder who is telling them continue and why no one's going, what are you up to? What are you doing? Why are you doing that?
Maybe they're just emboldened by their own madness, you know? They've gone down this road so far, there's we got to go bigger.
Keep going.
Because they get the headlines whenever they, to come out with one of these new creations.
Now, I am more than willing to sample this, but I am not getting in the 2 hour queue. Because let's face it.
Maybe we can bring some into the studio and try them.
Let's face it, that queue is going to get even longer now that they've announced this because, oh my God, it feels like there are so many baristas on the island and every one of them queues up for this bakery. Baristas, vinyl store owners, and honestly,
beanies galore.
Just beanies everywhere.
A sea of beanies.
I feel like you're just living your life and you're I feel like I see a hat a regular amount of times. And then suddenly you go near Dough House and it's oh my God, there's 7,000 people here and each one of them has a tiny, tiny beanie.
That's where you're in the little espresso quarter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's discordant jazz, but different discordant jazz from multiple places that's clashing not only with itself, but with each other.
And it's clashing with the jazz that is not there.
The jazz of our minds.
Yeah. I was kind of. So you didn't go?
I didn't. I'm
Okay.
not queuing for that.
We can probably get some in
I was
here.
going to say there was a part of me that was kind of excited. Like, are you going to pull this out now? And are we going to get to try it on air?
I would have had to have gotten up 4 hours earlier
Oh, wow.
to make the journey and
They're
to wait in the
doing
queue.
well.
Yeah. They have so many fans. So many fans. I have so many, like, I'll be honest, when I first heard about them, I was like, this will never work. They're called Dough House, but they spell the house in the German way. So it's DOUGHAUS. Like, okay, go for that. But then it just looks like Doug House to me. Like, everything about it screams this will never work.
Well, who owns it? Who's the owner?
Not even a guy called Doug.
Oh, there you go.
Not even.
I thought that might explain it, but no. Do you know who does own it?
I refuse to learn.
Is it
protest?
Is it River House? Does he own that? River House?
River House?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with River House.
He was in the trades. He's like a venture capitalist guy. He buys, he has like his finger in a bunch of pies.
It would not surprise me if he hasn't invested as soon as they got big.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they keep upping the ante. Because if it's private capital, they're not really in it for the for the taste of the art. They're just trying to pump that stock price up, or make a lot of money.
I don't really understand how venture capitalism works.
I don't know that anyone does.
No, I met a guy on a plane who was a venture capitalist, and as he explained it to me, I went, I don't think he knows what he's on.
Was it the pilot?
It was the pilot.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It was like, I invested in this plane.
Yeah. It was weird because like I had booked into row 16, and then when I got to the gate, they were like, we've had to change your seat. And then when I got on the flight, I was like, why am I in -1? And it turns out that was the co-pilot seat.
Did you have responsibilities?
Yeah.
Did they give you like the emergency row exit kind of speech?
But like
And he also
way
said,
more
I'm
intense.
a venture capitalist when you got to
Yeah,
talking.
like just making some small chat and was just
Small
like,
chat.
it was like, I'm a venture capitalist. And I was like, that's so interesting to hear. Like, that's what you do when you're not flying the planes.
Did you get a little hat?
Well, he was about to, but then he went, oh, can you just move the stick? You need to get a little bit more yaw, I think he called it. Or it was something like that.
It needs more yaw.
It was some weird
That
pilot
sounds
words.
made up.
And then I was like, okay. And he was like, just add a little roll over there. And I was like, this is, I don't know. I mean, this is a lot of responsibility.
It's like he was having a lot of fun for that.
Look,
It's like
get
venture
it.
capital sounds like it's
Yeah.
like a little pet project for this fella.
I get it. Sometimes you buy
Rich
the
people can do
discount.
whatever they want,
That's true.
Buy a boat,
Yeah.
venture capital to an airline or something. Next thing you know, you're walking onto the boat. You're like, hey,
Yeah.
that girl looks nice. Bring her on into the cockpit, and I'll
She's the
teach
captain
her.
now.
Yeah, she's the captain now.
Yeah. I do. I get that it's probably like kind of my fault. Like if you just buy those cheap budget airline tickets.
Sort of at their mercy.
You are, yeah. Like sometimes it is like you can only bring, one backpack on. It has to fit under the seat in front of you.
And
also,
you have to fly the plane.
in an emergency, you are solely responsible for the 155 souls on board.
Like, they're really
that's-
trapping you into that ticket.
Yeah. Like maybe it's in the small print. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention.
Like, sure.
But they were like, in the event of
you
a
save
water
$10,
landing,
but
Forced water landing.
like you gotta.
Did you have a forced water landing?
We luckily didn't, because imagine if we did. That would be
the passenger was flying the plane. I'm
Yeah.
surprised
Also,
you
we
made it
kind of-
safely.
the complaint letter I would put in.
We just glossed over that. I just want to circle back real quick just to say, not your fault.
Yeah, not your fault.
Not your fault.
Not your fault.
Not even a little bit.
No, for like I do sometimes feel that like you get what you pay for, and sometimes maybe
No, that was a trap.
You didn't
that was
pay
for
for-
sure a trap. That was for sure an eccentric billionaire who bought an airline and was like, I'm going to go fly
No,
it, but didn't really
okay.
know. So he's like, hey, I'm going to grab one of the passengers up here.
You never pay for geese in your engines.
Okay, hold on. Every time
Good point.
like every time something like this happens to me, Dirk, you are right there being like, you have been trapped, okay? Every single
How many
time.
times do things like
You
this
get
happen
trapped
to
a
you?
lot.
You were like that when
Because you embrace life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You're out there living life. And sometimes other people are trying to trap you.
I don't know if it was a trap. Okay, I turned up to a wedding from an invite from someone I'd never really heard of, but I was like, maybe I went to
See, there
university
you go.
with them.
Most
Can't
people
say
wouldn't
no.
go to that wedding.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
It was a very stately manor, very middle of nowhere, just kind of north, but like I would say more eastern. I can't really remember like the specific town it was in. I didn't see any signs. Lots of overgrown foliage, if I'm going to be honest. Maybe the signs are
All
behind
red
there.
flags. All of the things they're saying are
All
warning
bad.
I
lights.
don't know. It felt quaint. It felt real quaint.
At
and then
some point, a lot of people would
Yeah.
turn back, but Penny ventures on because she embraces life, but it
Yeah.
leads to, go on.
Well, the invite said arrive there at 9 p.m., which I found very strange because most weddings, obviously, you'd expect maybe like an afternoon start.
Yeah, it's more of an all-day thing.
So 9 p.m., I turn up, I rang the doorbell. The doorbell was ornate, loud, and about 16 beats long. Real, like, all over the place organ noise.
All over the place organ.
All over
Yeah.
the place organized.
The oldest woman I've ever seen in the world opens the door. Okay, and she's like,
Another red flag right there. What did you say, Bench?
Is she 50?
the oldest woman? Yeah, it must have been circa that age.
More shots fired for Bench at our elderly community.
We like to have fun.
We have fun.
We have fun.
Go on,
She
Penny.
opens the door and she goes, as it is foretold, you have arrived. Now, I know
Anytime
what
the
you're going to
word
say.
foretold is involved,
Yeah, well, it was foretold.
or like a we were expecting you
if
for
it's
someone you
foretold,
don't
I
know.
She
RSVP'd,
RSVP'd.
yes.
In her defense, she RSVP'd. That is
Yeah.
foretelling.
That's foretelling
That's
that I will
foretelling.
attend.
All right,
okay?
I guess I
I'm
can't
with you so
fault you
far.
on that one, but dicey.
So I go in and it turns out that the other wedding guests, there's only 6 other wedding guests and each one of them was like a classic stereotype, really. One was a colonel from the army, but like kind of the old-fashioned army.
So
One
not the modern army.
No,
That's a tip
no,
off
no.
right there that
Like-
something's wrong. It's like it's a uniform, but not from any recent generation.
yeah, like
Yeah,
across all 6 of
that
them.
guy was a ghost
I
for sure.
you say
Did you talk to him?
You know,
I
people
talked
can
to him.
buy clothes.
And so you think this was just a gentleman who was like, "Hey, I'm going to the wedding. I need a
I
suit."
don't know. I
And
think
he went to like an old military, like veterans.
so far
say,
I would play this out. My question is, was there at the end of the night, jumping ahead a little bit, was there how many ways did it end?
How many ways did it end?
Yeah.
Was there like a clean ending, or was there sort of like a winding, weaving, many
It
different
was
different sort of quote unquote storylines wrapping up?
a few
Was there
different
even a
times.
wedding? Did people get married? Who got married?
You know, now that you mention it, no one got married.
No one got
I still don't think
Penny.
it was a trap, though. So at several points, there were, like several points, it felt like there was sort of big reveals, I would say, of just like real interesting aspects of each person's
that's an
personality.
exciting event.
Okay,
I'll
what was-
say
Exciting,
that. That's nice.
eccentric.
Did they reveal
Cool.
something about you?
Well,
Did you learn something about yourself when these revelations happened?
well, what actually happened? Nothing really about me, but also very much about me. So eventually,
know.
this old man in the corner who'd been reading a newspaper for most of the night, he put his newspaper down and he was like, "My name is Jack Mackenzie, Esquire the Third." Okay, and he said to me, "I invited you here for a specific reason. I am a 4th generation venture capitalist."
Oh,
Okay,
Is that what venture capitalists do? They just fuck with you?
and he
venture
said,
capitalists, man.
yeah. And he said, "This estate has been in my family through generations, and I brought you here to close the prophecy. You will drink the poison, and you will be one of the residents of the house." I
So
think it
he's
was kind of
basically
like,
telling you this was a trap
I don't know. I mean, like,
Prophecy is
you,
not necessarily a trap.
to drink poison and join, quote unquote, join. Did you say become a resident
become
of the
a
house?
ghostly resident
Did
of
you
the
drink
house.
it?
That is a trap.
I didn't, because
A prophecy when it results in someone inviting you. The prophecy isn't the trap part. The trap part is inviting Penny to be poisoned and make them a ghost.
yeah. See, the thing was, he
Can
was
you-
like, "Drink this
I
whiskey."
need you to give me that. I need you to acknowledge that that is solid.
I'll let you have this one.
I don't like how hesitant you were, but I'll take it that I can
classify
get
it
it.
more as a bamboozlement than a trap.
Very technicality, also adding a sort of fun whimsy to it that I don't think is deserved when it involves murder. Please continue,
He
Penny.
offered me a glass of whiskey. He was like, "Drink this whiskey. It is generations old. It is the finest whiskey you'll ever taste, and it's the last thing you'll ever taste." And
So he's
I,
telling you it's poison.
at that point, was like, "Oh, I am so sorry. I actually brought the car, so I cannot drink any alcohol." And actually,
That's
due on,
very responsible of
thank
you.
you.
So,
I am
okay.
due on the radio tomorrow. That's
Penny,
why I
The
did
reason,
that.
so the reason you would have, if you had not been driving,
It,
would you have drank that
it
whiskey?
looked so smooth.
So the only reason,
You ever looked at a whiskey and you've just thought, that looks
I get
smooth.
it. I get it.
oh, Penny,
I probably
so
would have.
even after all of this, you didn't notice the trap or acknowledge or understand, even though he told you, I brought you here to poison you and murder you.
Yeah.
At no point did you like, okay, this was a trap. I'm been tricked.
I just don't-
You would have carried on down this road and you would have drank the whiskey
She was given a
if you
choice.
had
It's not a
not been
murder.
driving.
It looked delicious. Look, I just don't think venture capitalists are always sent out to trick me just because, I mean, look,
You are too trusting of venture capitalists because they seem to be seem to have their sights on you,
look,
Penny.
you have been in this
Pilots,
mindset.
eccentric
Yeah.
like mansion owners,
Comedy theater owners.
Yeah, ever
all of
since
them. They'll
you-
bring you in and trick you.
Oh my God, you have been in this mindset ever since I told you about the time I was shopping in the supermarket and then the tannoy went out and said, everyone who's not an actor, freeze. And I was like, oh, what's this? And then out from the back came a man whose name he told me was Charles de Graaf. Okay. And he went,
Esquire the Third.
weirdly, it would have been funny if it was, but absolutely not. And then he said, I am a venture capitalist.
Oh God!
The supermarket that you have been shopping in for 6 months has not been real. Okay.
So okay, to what end? Go on. Sorry.
And this has been a psychological experiment to see how you react. Okay.
Were you Truman Showed?
It was kind of like he saw it as a Truman Show. I actually saw it as like,
Was it just you?
Just
like, was
me.
this experience curated for any other test subjects, or was it made clear
No.
that you were the only person?
Only
was
person.
there was the one supermarket on your street that I tried going to a few times and I was just like not let in and I did not get why.
now you call that a trap, but I called that actually a really great shopping experience because I got a lot of loyalty points.
A lot of
there were
attention. Probably there was
discounts.
probably like anytime you would have needed help from someone who worked there. I imagine they all would have been
And sure,
right there, ready to help you because you're the only person.
Yeah, because
Sure.
actors are very kind and competent.
to sign up to the loyalty
Indeed.
card, they took some of my blood. Okay, sure, but that's not a trap.
All right. Now, what did they
You
do with
gave
the
them
blood?
Your blood?
Yeah, they were. The
Anytime
discounts were
they're-
spectacular.
Anytime they're taking your blood, they have an ulterior motive.
I've
If it's
been on your side
supermarket.
for most of it, but giving them your blood is a lot.
Yeah, it's just such a regular venture capitalist thing to do. Okay, it's just a regular.
I think we need to figure out why you are the target of all of these venture capitalists. Also, I'm stunningly impressed that you have maintained your grounded sense of reality when you've got all of these people constantly rug pulling you in terms of air travel and dinner parties and your grocery
And
experience.
you're still not suspecting any demons or liquid metal from any of them.
Well,
Yeah.
look, it's actually like through my friendship with so many venture capitalists, all the ones that I have met in these circumstances and then became friends with, I've really, gained a lot of stock options.
So they give you
Yeah,
they give you money or stock options after these like what happened after
not a trap,
the mansion
okay?
thing or the pilot thing or this supermarket thing? What happened
Usually-
at the end of it? What was the end result?
Usually they say something. So, like in the case of the mansion one, he was like, you have broke
He said,
the
"What?
prophecy.
What do you how do you start?"
You
Okay.
have broken the prophecy. You have freed the souls within the house. Here, have many stock options for one of my many companies that I am a venture capitalist for. They will, you are invested in them. They will divest at a future time, and then you will start getting dividends back. You will get several large payouts. And I was just like, oh my God, that's so nice of you to do. I mean, you're saying trap.
Penny.
I can see in your face you're thinking trap.
Okay, I'm just wondering. So with all of these VC options you have, none of them could get you like closer in line to get that weird pretzel thing?
I just don't think it's. I just don't know
Also,
if it's
do you
worth
know
it.
what these companies are? Because maybe they're companies that are doing illegal stuff and you're being set up,
Do you
aka trapped, to be the fall guy when things
Look.
happen. Billionaires generally don't just give super valuable companies
I-
away.
Look, I know that you are still really suspicious because earlier this week I went to that concert and it turned out that it was a trap.
Okay, so you're saying trap. Go on.
You
That
believe
was
it
a
was
trap.
a trap? Okay.
Yeah.
You were like, that's a trap. That's a trap. They just want to get you and talk to you. The police are going to arrest you. And I was like, no, the trap was the extortionate prices for beverages in the venue. Am I right?
Am I right?
Oh, the ultimate trap.
The ultimate
Venue
trap.
prices.
Also, they did
concession prices.
I believe they caught a serial killer.
They
in that
did catch a
concert.
serial
Yeah,
killer.
that was a
there,
trap.
yeah,
They
yeah.
caught a serial
Yeah.
killer there
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
But those prices.
Oh,
Oh,
honestly.
those prices.
Yeah.
Dare they?
Oh my God. The
What's
clock. Oh God, the clock's gone backwards. The clock's gone back.
Oh, that's the time we start the show.
That's the time we start the show.
Oh God, we got to start the show.
We have to start the show
We
again.
have to start the show.
We can't do
Okay,
it a
all right.
second time.
Play,
we were so
Matthias, can you
close.
play the theme? Opening theme?
We were so close to get. We can't. Look, I can't start this until we get something. We can't just start the show.
All right.
Okay, fine. We'll do the show again. Fine. Okay.
Give us
Give
us a reset, Penny. Before we leave
Okay.
in.
Yep.
Say goodbye to this hour, and we'll start the one anew.
Let's just thank you so much for listening to the first and only Good Afternoon Driftwood. We will be back in 2 minutes with the start of Good Morning Driftwood, where we will begin our 5-hour extravaganza all over again.
Good Morning Driftwood is executive produced and hosted by Zach Stewart, Laura Hotchkiss, and Daniel Kvoras. Engineered and produced by Zach Stewart. Music by Daniel Kvoras.